Hey everybody, welcome back to the Harvest Insights channel. This is Elisa, and I am going to walk you through another analysis app today called Reveal. If you're looking for it, it's actually doreveal.com. And I want to just walk you through kind of setting up a study and we can see how it works. So I'm just going to make a test study here. Of course, I want to test everything out, so I'm going to enable this deep synth process. I'm just uploading some really old videos that I have, so I'm going to throw in some research questions. I honestly don't even remember what they are, and then I'm going to have some, I'm not going to bother with this personal information. I don't think there's anything in here. And then I can upload my videos, which looks pretty easy. So I'm just going to take a couple of these, oops, and throw them in here. And let's see. Okay, so they upload pretty quickly, which is really nice. It does say it supports different languages, again, which is great. And then I really like that it asks you, or it kind of explains what it's doing. So I know this is going to take a second, so I'm going to pause here and we'll come back when it's ready. All right, it looks like we have uploaded our interviews. You can see that the interviews are off to the right here, the transcripts. So it did these transcripts. I did not upload them. And then you can see, look at these little emojis. That's hilarious because they're not accurate at all. You can see that it's put in already. I did not actually do anything at this point. This is all auto-generated. So it's actually created some questions here down the left side, which it thinks are what we talked about. I did not add these in. And then it's going to, it looks like it's working on, it's going to be putting together answers for each person, so how they answered it. And I already mentioned in a previous video, I really like this grid because it's just sort of how, it's the same way that I take notes, which I really like. I did ask them, oh, look, they added this little thing. I did ask them about this percentage, and it's basically telling you how sure they are that this is a good answer to the question at hand. So, okay, it looks like it's filled everything in. If you go here and you are looking at similarities and differences, so this is the one part, I don't know, I don't love this part. I guess I could get used to it. But it basically summarizes the interviews into similarities and differences. So similarities, you can see 3 of 3 participants have this opinion. And then if you go to differences, this is where you get more of the one-offs. And I thought that you could click on these and see who were the one-offs. So it is kind of nice because instead of just giving you, the general consensus, it's also giving you those one-off comments that, sometimes you can pull a really important insight, even if just 1 or 2 people said it, especially if you have a really small sample size. So I do like it. I think honestly, it's just the name similarities and differences sort of threw me off when I first started looking at this. So, okay, here it is. So if you go to expand, it will tell you exactly who said what. And then if you click on a person, it will show you exactly where it's pulling that insight from. So again, you can make sure it's not hallucinating. There's no funny business going on, and you can pull this exact quote. And it's just really a copy and paste situation. If you remember some of the other videos that we did, it was a little bit easier because they pulled the quote right into this summary, and so you could just copy it from there, or you could click on it to go to the transcript. This is another extra step just because you have to go over the transcript, but it does sort of force you to make sure that you know the context of what was said. So I don't mind it either way. And then if you want to add questions, you can just come down here and type some questions in. Oh, look, it's also telling me that it has found 20 additional topics. I think that you can also, you can go up to this cohort comparison, and this will allow you to condense if you have like two segments, obviously men versus women, or we have, women from the Northeast versus women from the South, or whatever your different segments are, you can do that as well. So there's a lot of different ways that you can pull this together. And then you can also just click on report. So it'll generate an executive summary for you. It'll tell you about observations. It's pulling in. This is just another way to look at it. So you can have the grid, or if you prefer to look at it like this. So there's really a lot of different things, a lot of different tools and ways of looking at the data in Reveal. So another one that I think does a good job. It feels natural as a researcher to look at data this way. And as you've seen, it doesn't take that long to pull together summaries and generate different insights, pull together themes, things like that. It's, as with all of them, they're never going to be perfect, but I think that this is a good way to start if you're just jumping into a new report. So that's all for Do Reveal or Reveal. I hope this was helpful, and we'll have another one up in the coming weeks. Thanks.